Alrighty, good evening, everybody. It is Chief Meteorologist Joe Fitzwater, and we are tracking some severe thunderstorms that are working their way through portions of the region. Now, the good news is we are at least with this northern cell. We've got two main areas of concern that we are watching. We're going to let everybody kind of hop on here for just a second. We are live on the Storm Tracker 59 page. We are live on the 59 News page. We are live over on my Facebook page as well, and that is Joe Fitzwater, meteorologist. And again, we are tracking two storms, alrighty, that are severe. And I'm going to turn the volume down just a tiny bit. It looks like I'm overmodulating just a little bit. Let's see if that helped right there. But again, we are seeing storms, one in Fayette County, and another one that's going to be entering northern portions of Wyoming, western portions of Raleigh County. Severe. Here as we work our way into the next few minutes. So let's split this up. We're going to start with the northern cell, and that is up in Fayette County. So the one nice thing is we might get a good look at this. Let's take a look at the Oak Hill camera and see what we've got going on over there. Hey, there we go. So again, I can't really do a lot as far as moving this camera. Just a little bit. Let's see if that helped right there. But we can see quite a bit of storm clouds working their way in. Sorry, I was just checking the audio, making sure our audio was okay. It seems like that was a little bit better. So again, for anybody tuning in, we've got two severe thunderstorm warnings that are taking place. This is the first one that is about to move just north of downtown Oak Hill. Let's show you that one first on our Storm Tracker 59 HD dual live Doppler radar. And there it is. So that camera, of course, is right in here. So we're kind of looking up to the north of this storm. Now, this storm is weakening, which is certainly some good news. It was pretty nasty a little bit ago. Let's span this to the last half hour so we can see how this has evolved. Likely saw some small hail there across western portions of Fayette County, out toward Powellton, for example, out toward Kincaid, there along Route 61. And now this thing is headed right for Fayetteville. So we can look at our hail detector. Not much showing up here over the last few minutes. Very small hail core that moved through kind of portions of Eastern Kanawha into western Fayette counties. So we can still see some small hail with this as it does move toward Fayette County. But still going to be some lightning. We've got a few strikes of lightning still showing up with this as it moves in. It is weakening, though. It's about to cross Route 19 right now, so between Oak Hill and Fayetteville. Probably the worst of this, honestly, is going to be right near Fayetteville over the next few minutes. There's likely some very dark skies out that way. In fact, let's take a look and see if I can get the New River Gorge camera to pop up here real quickly. Stand by. Let's see what that looks like. Oops, that's the wrong camera. Wrong shot here. I didn't mean to grab that. Let's see. Trying to get it to show up. There we go. Now it's dragging in. That's an old camera shot. Yeah, can't really see a whole lot on the New River Gorge camera there this evening, but definitely some darker skies. We could pop the Oak Hill camera back up and should get a really good shot of this. Again, this is looking kind of more to the east, so as this moves northeast, we should get a decent shot of that storm as it starts to push to the north and east. So that's the first storm. And again, with this particular storm, we're not looking at any kind of rotation, no rotation or anything like that. This is just a small hail maker. And then we got this storm. We got a couple of storms, another one that's popping up, but we'll look at this one first. And this one definitely has had more of a hail signature when it was across portions of Logan County. Still occasionally, though, showing pulses, I should say, of definitely some hail occurring. Currently, the strongest of this storm is across the extreme eastern parts of Logan County. This will hit the southern tip of Boone County and kind of straddle that Wyoming-Raleigh County border as it kind of works its way. It slowly meanders its way toward the Lester, Lake Stevens, Middleton area. So this is kind of the area of concern if it were to hold up. So if you're out toward Fairdale, this is a doozy of a little storm right here. And this one is stronger than the one that's severe warned up to the north toward Fayette County. So we look at the hail detector with this one. And again, not too bad at the moment, but we go back, and definitely a little more impressive back toward portions of Logan County. We can put the swath up, actually, and that gives you an idea of which areas have likely seen the biggest chance of seeing hail. So anywhere you see the black, that's where we've likely had at least some small hail. So across eastern parts of Logan County, southern parts of Boone County, and then that other swath right there, moving out of eastern Kanawha toward Esdale, moving into Fayette County, just south of Powellton, eventually toward Dempsey. This is kind of beelining for Fayetteville again. Small hail possible with these two storms as they work their way off to the east. Those are the two strongest storms we have. We do have other thunderstorms, though. We'll take a look at these. This little storm in Wyoming County has just now kind of popped up, kind of flared up over the last 15 minutes. So there it goes, blowing up. So seeing some lightning strikes there in Oceana, especially with this storm blowing up. Usually see a lot of lightning activity as those storms do blow up. And eventually we plan to have a camera up in Wyoming County. This would have been a good day to have one, there's no doubt, as the storm grows vertically, and you can kind of see how it's just stacking up on the radar just as it kind of blows up there. So this is a strong thunderstorm, even though the presentation with this particular cell is not that impressive. It is certainly a storm that is likely producing plenty of lightning there in Wyoming County. So I'll get to the comments here in just a moment. I see some folks that are popping on here, so we will get to them. Just kind of going on a tour across the region first. We move farther down to the south. This has been kind of a more active area down toward Tazewell County. That's where we do have that severe thunderstorm watch. And we switch the radar so we see a little bit better presentation. A little surprised we're not seeing a severe thunderstorm warning with this cell in the far southern tip of Bland County. That would enter Wythe County here over the next few minutes. Also, these storms kind of moving unidirectionally, so basically moving over the same grounds here. So we could see some pretty impressive rainfall totals down in our Virginia counties with some small hail. And then lastly, we have these two little cells that are moving into Pocahontas County. I switch radar locations once again. And this is likely a little hail maker that's approaching Marlinton. That'll be right near downtown Marlinton here shortly. Ironically, moving over Raintown as we speak. And again, likely, yeah, there's definitely probably some small hail with this particular cell as it does move its way into Pocahontas County. Our hail tracker not showing much, but I'm a little skeptical. I think we've probably got some small hail occurring just to the south and west of Marlinton there, right before you get into 219 toward Mill Point and over toward Buckeye. So that's kind of everything that's going on in the area right now. If you're just now tuning in, we have two severe thunderstorm warnings, one of which now is directly over Fayetteville. So let's pop the Oak Hill camera back up. We'll kind of switch back and forth. Yeah, you can see the raindrops there. I'm curious to see if maybe we can see a hailstone or two briefly. We're going to keep this up for a minute. I'm going to leave this camera up while we take a look at the comments. So give me 1 second to load that. It does take a moment to get everything loaded here. But I hope everybody is doing well here this evening and staying safe out in the storms. Rivers Up Church and myself, we just made a trip out toward Bob's to get some food, so that was pretty cool. Their food is really good, I might add. If you haven't been there, over in Shady Spring, underrated little spot. I just got some wings there. I'm a big fan of spicy food. Got their Carolina Reaper wings, and they are delicious. So I've been eating those. All right, let's take a look at these comments here. We'll pop the radar back up here. This is not overly impressive just yet, and it probably won't be an Oak Hill, but zoom out to the two severe. This is a stout thunderstorm that is about to move into northern Wyoming and west central Raleigh County. So we have some viewers that are out toward Bolt Mountain. Yeah, this is going to be quite the hail maker out toward those areas. And again, this is not going to be huge hail, but I would say this is enough hail to perhaps cover the yards with some small hail. Let's see. Chris says, good evening. Appreciate the report there. No rain in Oak Hill, he says. Heard a good boom of thunder in Oak Hill. Yeah, I believe it. You got that storm that's right near you. Let's pop the radar back up there for Christopher and Hank. Debbie says, is rain now getting anything? At some point, you're likely going to see at least a downpour. The severe weather risk is going to start to subside pretty quickly over the next couple of hours. So, Sam asking about Oak Hill. Really kind of missing out, to be honest. You're getting a couple of raindrops, and that's about it. Remington says, what about Quinwood? What about Rupert? Says Pat. Priscilla asking about Rupert. Again, everybody's going to see likely a downpour or two at some point this evening, folks. But in the near term, the severe weather threat overall is fairly minor. Again, kind of watching a few areas here. And these are pretty rogue, very small in nature. The cell in Pocahontas County, west central Pocahontas County toward Raintown. This cell right over Fayetteville. Let's actually pop the New River Gorge camera back up here for a moment. See if it's raining cats and dogs out there just yet. Oh, yeah, it's raining hard. This is not a great quality camera, but the West Virginia 511 camera still, they provide a lot of services to us, so we appreciate them. But you can see, I mean, we were looking at this 4 or 5 minutes ago, and it was completely dry. So that is definitely not the case now. And, yeah, be careful out on these roads. Torrential rainfall occurring with these small thunderstorms. They don't last long, but they do pack a bunch. Hey, look at these clouds in Oak Hill. Finally getting a good view of this storm. So let's keep this popped up for just a moment because kind of seeing a good view. We're at a good angle because, again, we're looking from basically near the Kroger parking lot. So if we zoom in on this particular cell, we're kind of like in here looking up to the north and east. So we're getting a really good view of the storm. So we're going to keep that camera up for just a moment. And yeah, again, you can see that is quite a bit of storm. You can kind of see the updraft going into this. So I wish I could draw on this, but I cannot. But basically, you're getting a wind that's going up into this storm and kind of allowing it to try to sustain itself. And again, now looking at some of the sampling with the latest with this, it looks like it has weakened quite a bit. In fact, it's been allowed to cancel. So this severe thunderstorm warning has already been allowed to cancel. We will see if a new one is issued, but they've already dropped the warning for that one in Fayette County. This storm, though, in northern Wyoming and Raleigh County, it means business. And the concern here is, and I'll show you the animation, is there's a cell that's about to merge with it. So this could get rather interesting across central parts of Raleigh County here in just a bit. In the near term, that's kind of the area of greatest concern. And that storm does have a history of some wind damage in the Chapmanville area of Logan County. So again, just kind of watching this, kind of seeing some cool structure with this storm. Let's take a look at the comments again. Let's see. Bethany says, hail mixed in with the rain in Fayetteville. Bethany, please send a photo if you can. Head over to our website, wvnstv.com. Head over to the Weather Together tab, or you can just email the photos. We'll do it for you. I'm okay with that. Jessica says, just started raining in Sophia. Might get something a little bigger in Sophia in a little bit. Thundering pretty good towards Cliff Top, says Hannah. It's probably as a result of the storm. We'll pop the radar back up here in just a moment. Hank says, yeah, not a whole lot in Oak Hill. We're seeing some light showers. This is not overly heavy. Might be enough to dampen the roads, though. Kelly says, that storm in Tazewell coming to Beckley. No, that's going to stay away from you down to the south and east. Kind of scooting down to your south. And Honey says, I live in Mullins. What's it looking like over there? All right, let's pop the radar back up. We kind of want to hold on to this just for a second because this is kind of neat storm structure. So let's look at this for just a moment before the rain. Yeah, probably should just pop the radar back up. So there's that storm I was talking about. So here's the issue. We kind of have... Honey's in Mullins. He'd probably be okay in Mullins, to be honest. But we have this storm in southern portions of Boone County heading into west central Raleigh County. And then we got this wise guy that's kind of moving up to the north and east. And these guys are going to crisscross each other here in a little bit. Watch how this storm forms. So this shows the presence of a little bit of wind energy here. Now, granted, this cell in southern Boone County right now that is severe thunderstorm warned for portions of Raleigh and Wyoming counties is weakening. Or at least it seems like for now it is weakening. But this cell, on the other hand, is about to merge with this one. So we call these mergers. So it'll be interesting to see how that happens or how that transpires. And then to answer your question, there's Bluefield. Let's switch the radar locations for Honey. So Bluefield's right here. All this activity is down here toward Wytheville. Kind of moving out of Blaine County at this point, but kind of scooting down to the south and east very slowly. We look at some of these rainfall totals down there. We're talking about 3-hour rainfall totals, even 1-hour rainfall totals starting to encroach on an inch of rain. Let's pause this, take a look. Yeah, I mean 1.23 inches. That's enough to at least see some ponding taking place for sure. Some of these heavier storms. And that's the thing. These storms are not really in a hurry. So as a result, we do see some pretty impressive rainfall totals occurring with these, despite them not being very large in size. So if you're just now tuning in, we're kind of keeping an eye on things. We've got the severe thunderstorm warning for this particular cell until 8:15. So we'll hang on here until then. So that'll be at least another 10 minutes or so. See what they do with that. But again, this is a storm that's not really rotating or anything. We're not having to worry about that. But again, we can kind of take a look at this and see that there's definitely a hail core with this storm as it does work its way, generally speaking, down to the south and to the east. So again, that's just something that we're going to have to continue to watch here. And anytime you start to see these black colors here, so this is now moving into western parts of Raleigh County. This is likely some decent hail that's taking place. This is going to be heading over toward the Fairdale area, toward Bolt Mountain in the next few minutes. And if you're in these areas, I'd probably go ahead and bring your car indoor, or not indoors, but under a garage, in a garage or under a carport if you can. We're talking likely probably some at least nickel-size hail, but it's a lot of it that's likely occurring. So this is the area that is likely seeing the hail, and that little core, again, is heading right toward the Fairdale, Bolt Mountain area. This would eventually head toward Lake Stevens, Middleton, and then toward MacArthur and Beckley. So we will continue to watch this closely. Let's pop that back up. That is the strongest storm that we're seeing right now, and we are continuing to watch this rather closely. And some of the sampling indicates that there could be as much as 1-inch hail occurring with this. So definitely being watchful of that. In addition, small amount of rotation, but it's very, very broad, and we actually just lost it on this scan. So again, anywhere you see that black color, though, that is definitely some hail that's occurring. So again, that continues to push down to the south and to the east. What I want to do real quickly is we'll do try to have a little bit of fun here. If I can, let's do a little sample with this and see if I can take a look. So basically what we're doing is taking a 3D sampling of the storm. So this is the storm that's approaching Bolt Mountain. And here's what you notice. So up in the atmosphere, this is the concern here. We have what is called a hail core occurring with this thunderstorm as it works its way toward Bolt. So I kind of want to switch this around. It's not as easy to see on this side. But there's Copperston, so you're fine at Copperston. You're fine at Bald Knob. But this storm is scooting down to the south and east. And as it does so, it might be a little bit better to do a vertical slice here. There we go. That's what I want to see. So let's take a look at this. And this is what basically we're looking inside the storm. I don't understand why it keeps, there we go, why it keeps wanting to volumetrically display this. There we go. But basically we have, you see that black there, this is at about 15,000 feet. This is a classic hail signature that is occurring with this storm as it approaches Bolt Mountain. So again, this is heading toward Bolt, toward Fairdale, eventually toward the Beckley area if it can hold together. So again, that's the direction that it's headed. And you see this black. This is not great news for folks that have cars outside. This is one of those situations, and I'm going to pop the radar back up here so that we can see it like normal. We are definitely seeing some hail with this storm in particular in northern parts of Wyoming County. Let's zoom back out for a bit for folks who don't care about northern Wyoming and western Raleigh counties. That is the storm of greatest threat here. We also have quite a bit of activity that's back to the west toward eastern parts of Pike County. This is now severe thunderstorm warning, western portions of McDowell County. I do think we'll see these storms generally weaken as they push down to the south and east. But the National Weather Service has gone ahead and issued a severe thunderstorm warning that does include the Yeager and Ike's Fork areas and far western parts of McDowell County. But we're seeing a weakening trend with these thunderstorms as they continue to push down to the south and east. And in this case, I kind of want to switch radar locations to the Jackson radar, just because we are a little closer to that radar than we are to Charleston over there. But again, a lot of lightning with this storm, with these storms, and these are generally speaking working their way down to the south and to the east. Take a look at the comments. Let's pop the Oak Hill camera back up here for a moment. Joey says he's watching the backside of the storm from Manstead. Joey is a dude that is working on getting his meteorology degree. So we want to wish Joey the best of luck in being able to do that. So Joey is from Anstead and big fan. So keep doing your thing, man. Keep studying hard. Let's see. How's it looking for Princeton? Says Sue. Okay in Princeton right now. Kelly says thank you. Well below Bluefield. Yeah, you're way south. Those storms are way south of Bluefield, so you're okay right now. Nick, like we were talking about, buddy, this is not really impacting you right now, so you're fine. Caitlin says, what about Nettie? Nettie holding up okay? Doing okay, Caitlin. Hope you're doing okay, too. Priscilla asking if any of these storms are rotating. Not really. That storm that's trying to push into western portions of Raleigh County is trying to rotate, but that's not really the issue here this evening for any of these storms. It is these hail cores that show up. Classic signature showing up there in right there along kind of the triple point there in Wyoming, Boone, and Raleigh County. This is very, very rural country, I might add. But it is definitely, almost certainly dropping hail in this area. And our hail tracker, this just shows you, gives you an idea of which areas have most likely seen this, and there you go. This area circled is going to be the area over the next 15 to 20 minutes where we see, likely either have or are about to see some hail taking shape here. So we could put the tracker on this. Now, this is showing some signs of weakening, so it's all about perspective here, but eventually this would work its way toward Bolt Mountain over there by 8:15 or so, Fairdale by about 8:20. Again, showing signs of weakening, so I want to make that clear, but still likely seeing some hail with that. This storm east of Fayetteville now has dropped below severe limits, so this is now basically right along the New River. So not a fun time out toward Kennard, for example. Beauty Mountain, not fun. Caperton, of course, that's an old ghost town, old mine town, but not fun. Somebody was commenting that they were seeing some dark clouds in Clifftop. Yeah, you'll get smacked with this, but this will literally last about 2 minutes and then it'll be over. It's weakened quite a bit. You can literally see how much it has weakened just in the last handful of minutes since we've been on here. And again, right now, the only two areas currently that are severe thunderstorm warned is west central Raleigh, northern Wyoming, and then western McDowell counties. Those are the only areas that are severe thunderstorm warned. And then elsewhere, we're pretty quiet. We have a little cell that's popping up in Monroe County. Those are below severe limits, not really anything of concern. Perhaps a little hail showing up right there south of Marlinton. That's not a particularly strong signature, though. Perhaps some pea-sized hail with that. It is mainly, at this point, this cell in the near future that we are keeping. Wow, it has weakened a lot in the last couple of frames, though. Watch how much this is weakened. So this thing was really putting out some hail at 8:07. Big time. And now, definitely weakening. It might not even be spitting hail out at this point. So we like to see that. And so at this point, the strongest storm now is this complex across Pike County, Kentucky. And this is headed toward western portions of McDowell County. So you're fine right now in Welch and Gary. But likely some hail showing up there. That's east of Pikeville. This is out toward Argo. Heading down to the south and east. This would eventually get toward Panther. Of course, there's Yeager. There's Ike's Fork. There's Panther, just for reference. And eventually get down toward Avondale. I think we'll be okay down in that area, but Yeager will have to keep an eye on this here in the next 20 minutes or so. I don't think they're going to need to renew this severe thunderstorm warning, to be quite honest with you guys. This storm has weakened considerably. So the kind of shows that perhaps the showers we saw this morning have still our atmosphere not really recovered as far as a instability standpoint. Just not a lot of instability here in our neck of the woods. Little cell forming there southeast of Beckley, but again below severe limits. Chrissy says thundering in Glendale. I believe it, but this storm is weakening as it approaches you. Yeah, this thing is falling apart in a hurry. Now, one thing to keep in mind is we are kind of moving into that cone of silence, so I want to switch radars real quickly. Yeah, there's still a little bit of hail possible with this, so I want to make that clear. If you're in Bolt and Fairdale, the storm is definitely weakening, but we still could have some small hail with this as it continues to trek down to the south and to the east. So again, that's kind of following not too far from Route 3. Of course, Glendale, for reference, is right in here. And kind of continuing to work its way off to the east. Yeah, that's still going to be enough to probably pop some hail out there toward Bolt Mountain. And Fairdale likely going to get a good clap or two of some lightning here in a little bit. So if you know anybody that's in Fairdale, that might be an area to watch. Nick says kind of chilly in Monroe. Again, I mean, that kind of tells you, right? Storms don't really like chilly weather. So what about Anawalt and McDowell County? So for reference, Anawalt is in the eastern part of the county. There we go, right in there. You're okay for now. We're watching these storms, but they are weakening as they approach you. And the only reason I've got this particular radar up is because this cell that's been severe thunderstorm warning is moving into the cone of silence, as we call it. And so you can't see it. Looks like a new severe thunderstorm warning was continued for this cell. So we'll stay on here a little bit longer. We'll kind of track this until it weakens. Again, rotation is not really the issue. It is strictly hail that we are keeping an eye on with this. And for those tuning in, we've been on here for about a half hour or so. Check the comments some more. Yeah, Kristen, hey, we got somebody in Fairdale on here. Kristen, let us know what you see. I'm curious to see if you end up getting some hail. If you do, you'll see it in about 2 to 4 minutes. It's right on your doorstep, Kristen, so that's pretty cool. Thanks for hopping on. Chris says hello. Caitlin, Joe, you take care, heading to bed. Both kiddos are out now. You have a great evening night. You too, Caitlin. Get some sleep. I could use some sleep. Let's see. Jessica says Pineville has some deep, dark purple clouds, and it's thundering like crazy. And again, that's mainly because of this activity that's farther up to the north. These storms have been trying to kind of get organized in Wyoming County, as you can see. So Pineville, for reference, is right here. And you're just kind of missing this downpour up to the north. And by the way, this new severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 8:45 does include downtown Beckley. So Beckley, you are now in this severe thunderstorm warning. Now, the interesting thing to watch is whether this storm can hold together. This is mainly for the threat for hail that we're watching. So again, it's this particular hail core that we are watching approach. And the only thing that's kind of a bummer is I believe both of our Beckley cameras are down right now. I'm going to check, but I think last time I looked, they were both still down. Yep, Pioneer Community Bank's still down. Man, we just got to knock on those. Yep, those Nissan still down. That's really unfortunate. This would have been a good day to have them. But that's how it goes sometimes, folks. What we can do, though, is check the Jenk camera because that's looking up to the north. Might get a good photo out of that. Kind of hard to tell. Of course, granted, we're looking at storms that are probably 20, 30 miles away. But it's quiet, and the turnpike itself is just looking north that we're interested in. And again, Bolt Mountain right now, likely seeing some small hail. Fairdale is next. And then this heads towards Lake Stevens, toward Middleton. Kind of interesting that they included this warning all the way down to Rodell. This is not really going to impact Rodell at all. I would say from about Abney, Sophia points north is kind of the area of concern. Kind of put the tracker on this. It's moving at 30 miles an hour, so Hoo Hoo Holler. You know, that's an area that's pretty famous, of course. Look out, Hoo Hoo Holler there in about 7 minutes or so. Glen Daniel, of course, coming up. Trap Hill there at the elementary school, getting ready to hit you. And then again, Lake Stevens, Middleton, the Eccles, kind of following Route 3. And look at that. Okay, so that scan there, that's some big hail that's showing up there in Bolt Mountain. We've got definitely a core showing up. So this is a classic case of hail. Big time. Also, we can use our dual pole, so this is what we call ZDR. But basically, when you see bright values like this, yeah, folks, we are seeing some hail with this. Definitely multiple pieces of evidence showing hail. So we got definitely a hail core that is continuing to work its way into now pretty much strictly Raleigh County. If you are along Route 3 between the, let's say between Bolt Mountain and Beckley, and you've got a garage, put your car in it. Straight up. Because this thing's meaning business here. Again, if we were looking at the Charleston camera, you wouldn't really be able to see much because it's being blocked. But we look at both the Jackson and the Blacksburg radars, and this is the real deal here. We're likely seeing some pretty decent hail with this, and there are suggestions with radar that we're looking at around an inch or so of diameter hail with this. That would be enough to perhaps dent some cars. This is really the only cell of immediate concern. We're watching those cells moving out of Pike County, Kentucky, and heading into parts of western McDowell, but they are weakening as they do so. But this little cell right here is meaning business in western Raleigh County, and it's continuing to kind of spread down to the south and to the east. This is going to kind of impact areas eventually along the new highway there between Sophia and Beckley. So again, this is the kind of general direction. So if you're in this area right here, this is not an area you want to have a car outside right now. All signs point to hail taking place. We take a look at our hail swath, and there you go. These are areas. This does not show size of hail. This shows where it is most likely to have occurred. So in southern Boone County, we definitely had some hail that took place, right? Over in western Raleigh County, likely seeing hail. We've got a viewer on here in Fairdale. I would love a picture when it is safe to do so. Let me know what you see. Trina asking about Clay County. Man, love me some Clay County. Love for Clay County. It's where I'm from. So it's pretty quiet up in Clay County right now. Let's see. Chris says temp has dropped and a good breeze. Greenbrier County and Rupert. Kristen says it is lightning and thundering in Fairdale. The clouds are very dark. Thank you. And she's in Hoo Hoo Holler. How about that? That's pretty cool. Let me know if, yeah, she's on here. So again, Kristen, for those, I always say it's really helpful to let us know what you're seeing in your town. The reason that I say this is not because I want 1,000 comments on our Facebook post, right? I could care less about how well these do. If there's 10 people that find this helpful, I'm good to go. I will stay on here, right? But when you comment your location and you say what you're seeing in your location, somebody that might be a few miles down the road from you that's going to be impacted from the same storm can kind of get a general idea. I mean, I can tell you what this radar is showing, and radar nowcasting, that is what I specialize in. This is my bread and butter, but that ground truth is better than anything else. I'm here to tell you, though, there is, man, right there in Fairdale, you're probably okay, but I mean, goodness, you get down toward, yeah, Hoo Hoo Holler, man. Kristen, dead serious. If your car is outside, I would bring it inside. If you're in Hoo Hoo Holler, for reference, Hoo Hoo Holler. I mean, it's pretty easy to tell. It's right in there. You can see the black This is a classic hail core that's moving through Raleigh County. So again, if you're tuning in, this is the area of concern. We will periodically zoom out and look at some of the other storms. But this is the one of greatest concern, and that is now east of Bolt Mountain. This thing is strengthening for the time being and is likely dropping some pretty good sized hail in, again, toward the Fairdale area. This is out toward Lake Stevens. Lake Stevens is right, let's see, I got to get my bearings straight. Lake Stevens is right about here. Yep. So again, actually I think I'm one road over it. Lake Stevens is about here. So if you know anybody out at Lake Stevens, again, hail, big time possible. We don't talk about this often. This is eventually going to become a problem for the greater Beckley area, especially on the south side of town over the next 15 to 20 minutes. So we are live on Facebook talking about this. We are staying on here. And you see the lightning counter. We got a lot of lightning. Gary saying bad lightning in Glendaniel. So that's about, Gary, you're about to get in on some of this hail possible here momentarily. The worst of it is going to be just to your south. This hail core is shifted a little farther to the south toward the very small community of Maple Meadow, a little closer to Lester. So they're along Route 99 headed toward eventually MacArthur. So this is kind of shifting a little bit down to the south and east. I'm kind of hoping we can get out of this radar blockage here in a minute. But that is still a wicked-looking hail core showing up here. And again, without getting too deep into the woods here, yeah, this is what we're talking about. Hail very likely has occurred in southern Boone County toward Bald Knob, and this little stretch just kind of continuing to head southeast. And again, at one point we're showing signs of weakening on the hail tracker, but that is not the case at the moment. In fact, if anything, it might be strengthening a little bit as it works its way toward Lester. Now, we have not had any reports of hail from this. Selena's on here. Hope you're doing good, Selena. Let's see. Lily, you're in the Sophia area. Yeah, you're going to want to bring that car in if you can. Hopefully this thing will weaken in the next few minutes. Donna, is Wyoming County getting anything bad? Nope, not really. The northern part of the county about got smacked by this storm. We are watching these storms in eastern Kentucky. There is a lot of lightning with them, but they are weakening. We will check back in on that here in a bit. But this is the storm that is of greatest concern here in the short term. That is, again, in Raleigh County. So this is very familiar territory, of course, for me. Yeah, if you're just anywhere between, kind of in this box, kind of like so, this is the area of concern. And yeah, man, this is definitely some hail showing up here. We got big time hail. This is headed right for Lester. Man, if you're in this chat and you know anybody in Lester, toward Middleton, toward Lester, you're going to want to go ahead and tell them to bring their cars in. I mean, seriously. We could be seeing some pretty impressive hail right in here in the next 5 minutes. So, again, Fairdale just kind of missing out. Hoo-hoo holler, man. That is an area that could definitely be seeing some hail. I'm curious to see what Kristen ends up seeing here. She's basically right in the core of this, very close to it. Yep, Kathy, glad it's not coming through. Yeah, I would not want to be anywhere near this storm, to be quite honest with you. This storm means business. The rest of these storms pretty decent, but, they're okay. Just go inside for a few minutes, you'll be fine. Kind of the same song and dance, but you start talking about this. This is a stout storm that is continuing now to cycle and strengthen and work its way through. And again, hoo-hoo holler for reference, because we've been talking about it. It's this road right here. And that is the hail core right there. So again, this is going to move right through hoo-hoo holler toward the Lester area. So that hail core, kind of shifting just to the south a little bit here over the last few minutes. That's good news for Beckley. Not great news for, let's say, the MacArthur to Sullivan to Beaver areas over the next 20 to 30 minutes. In fact, I'm going to text my buddy that lives in Beaver and tell him to move his car inside, because let's see, move your car inside. Sorry, guys. Try to be a good egg here. And I cannot multitask. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I am not good at multitasking. So I just got to take the 10 seconds to send the text. Okay, so the last couple scans, a little bit of weakening here as this now moves into the hoo-hoo area. I didn't know this was actually considered a small community. I always just call it hoo-hoo holler. So I guess I learned something new. Lily says, my car's in the garage. Atta girl, Lily. That's what I'm talking about. Get her done. That's what we want. Awesome, Selena. Appreciate that. Selena, remind me again. I know you're close to Leicester. Are you south of Leicester or north? I always forget. I have the memory of a goldfish, so you'll have to excuse me on that. Jenna asking, Bradley, Prosperity area. You've got some lightning coming. You've got some showers. But the worst of this will remain well down to your south, Jenna. So you're okay. Again, if there's anybody that's just now tuning in, we will look back at the McDowell storm here in a moment, but this has been a heck of a storm, and this is kind of the box that we're watching here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So we're talking about maybe about as far south as Slab Fork. Slab Fork will be okay, but Sophia, look out. Leicester, look out. Those areas, if you can bring your car inside, might not be a bad idea. This is not going to be 3-inch diameter hail. It's just a lot of hail that's coming down. In all likelihood here. And then it goes all the way. Oh, we saw a lot of weakening. So this is good. Okay. So as we head toward Leicester now, just in the last couple minutes, we've seen a good bit of weakening with this. So let's hope that this trend continues as it continues to work its way to the east. So a good bit of weakening here is what we like to see. But again, if I'm in Leicester, if I'm in Sophia, if I'm in MacArthur, just to play it safe, if you have the opportunity to bring your car indoors, I would go ahead and do that. Right? I don't think that's ever going to be a bad idea. Selena says, I'm near MacArthur. Thank you for that. I will try to remember because I give shout out to Selena because she hops on here quite a bit. I always appreciate people who tune into these Facebook Lives. And again, I'm terrible. I have terrible memory. I blame it on a concussion I got in high school, but it's probably just because I don't feed my brain correctly. I'm like everybody else. I eat a lot of processed food sometimes, so that doesn't help. But kind of getting off track. So again, over toward MacArthur. This is moving toward you, but it's weakening. So we like to see this. This is a good trend at the moment. Here. Somebody commented that they're in Lanark. For anybody who doesn't know, again, one of my specialties is knowing where everywhere is. Lanark's up to the north here. Oh, there it is. Yeah. I was going to say, it's up north, and you're in good shape there, buddy. So, who was that commented? Somebody was commenting about Lanark. Cody, yeah, you're going to be fine, man. So you're in good shape. You don't have to worry about it. Lily just said, I heard the thunder in Sophia. And wow, so the core of this is right over Leicester right now. So if anybody is seeing hail, it's literally over Leicester. And the interesting thing is this hail core is continuing to slide a little farther down to the south and east. So now this is starting to trek a little closer toward the Shady Spring area, out toward Glade, back toward the resort. Let's take a look real quickly at the... yeah, look at that. Okay, this is a great shot. So it's getting dark. I'm going to keep this up for just a second. I got a feeling we're going to see some lightning with this momentarily. Look at the clouds out there in the distance. Look at that. Wow. This is some good structure we're seeing. So let's watch this just for a minute and see if we can get any lightning bolts. Oh, yeah, there you go. We're starting to see some lightning showing up on here, so... this is going to be fun to watch here in the next handful of minutes. We're going to kind of want to bounce back and forth. Again, for reference, this is at the news station looking to the north. And, of course, Leicester is up to our north and west. And lo and behold, that is where the storm is. So that's why we're seeing the lightning over there. The clouds, you can really see the change in wind direction with this is impressive. So we've got clouds moving this way. That's very discernible, right? But you also have clouds kind of moving this way, farther up in vertical height here. So notice that these clouds are moving this way. These clouds are also moving this way. That's a big bolt there. And then we have those clouds moving that way. So yeah, this is a little beast of a storm right here. Again, I'm kind of checking a lot of stuff at once here, just trying to keep an eye on this hail core. So bear with me at times here, but if you do have any questions, we will answer them for you. We've been on here for about an hour. And just kind of tracking this storm here real quick. To be honest, thought this thing would have probably weakened by now, but still showing at least some signs of perhaps some half-inch or so diameter hail. Right over Leicester. Let's pop the radar back up. We'll periodically go back to this, though, because I think this is a good shot. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, so again, this is a hail core, and it is headed about toward Midway. This is the direction here. So I'm really going to zoom in on this. So put the streets up. So you got Route 16, of course. It's kind of the main thoroughfare, right? That's kind of the new highway, the 4-laner. Midway's right here. Look out. This is coming right for you. Out toward Tilden. Look out. Coming for you. Sophia. Look out. Coming for you. But this is definitely a hail core that continues to work to the east. Not quite as strong as it was a little bit ago, though, so I want to make that clear. In fact, our in-house is definitely showing a little sign. Definitely showing a little sign of weakening here. We definitely want to see that. We don't wish for this to get worse. Let's take a look at the cell over in McDowell County. So we're in western McDowell County, and that's a little hail core too that's near Avondale. That's scooting to these. I do think this is going to weaken. This stuff is very messy. But perhaps an area where we could have a little bit of hail showing up there in McDowell County. Going to zoom out just for a minute. Kind of show the progression of these storms. Again, if you're watching, you're in Greenbrier County, you're in pretty good shape. A couple little cells, of course, but we're doing okay overall. Let's switch to the Blacksburg radar. A couple cells popping up here and there, but these are all sub-severe, except for the one moving toward central Raleigh County. And then that cell in western parts of McDowell County is still rather strong. Not severe, but still rather strong. Look at the storm development here in western Blaine County. So if you're out toward Rocky Gap, man, that is a wall of rain that's coming through. So that could get severe thunderstorm warned shortly as well. I want to go back to this cell because, again, this is headed toward a fairly populated area. Continuing to watch this. We've been watching it for quite a while. We've been watching it all the way back in southern parts of Boone County, but this continues to head off to the south and east. Of course, Turnpike is right here. That's the Turnpike. This is not going to be fun on the Turnpike here in about 10 minutes. And, in fact, let's pop that Turnpike camera back up. Let's see what we got cooking here. I bet you if we're patient, we leave this up for a minute or two, we will see some lightning bolts. Nick said any wind with this cell. I'm assuming he's talking about the Raleigh cell. Yeah, there's still some strong wind gusts, but the hail is the biggest threat with any of these storms. Carol says dark in Key Rock. Rain 2. Appreciate the report. Oh, yeah, that was good lighting there. Let's see. Selena said I had to come inside. I was outside planting flowers. Bill, you got it. Donna. What's Durbin going to get? Should weaken by the time it gets to you there, Donna. Kristen says, is that going to be headed toward McDowell County? This cell right here that we've been tracking is not. There are some other cells that are moving into the county that are just below severe limits, though. Paul, we are watching this, as well as Shane and Beaver. That is an area, those are areas that will eventually be impacted by this storm, although there are signs of this thing weakening. Clay, you might get some lightning in Beckley, but the worst of this is going to stay down to your south. It'll stay down to your south, so we're good there. And again, we're just kind of chilling here. Pretty amazing, though, to see the difference in wind direction here. And we will eventually pop the Charleston radar back up, but again, in western portions of Raleigh County up to about the Turnpike, we have that cone of silence, and you just cannot see it very well with what's going on with the storm until it kind of gets on the other side of the Turnpike. I was wanting to get an actual lightning bolt here. I'm not sure if we're going to get it. Definitely a lot of cloud-to-cloud lightning showing up, though. No doubt about that. No doubt at all. Vicky, you're welcome. All right, let's pop the radar back up. I'm getting impatient. I want to look at the radar data here. But, yep, Lily's saying, loving the lightning show in Sofia. Yeah, I bet you are getting some lightning up that way. Oh, that was a good bolt there. All right, okay. Golf clap. That was a good one. That was a nice ladder that we just saw. I don't know if anybody else saw that. We had a good little bolt that just popped up right there on the far left part of the camera. Respect. How about one more? And then we'll pop the radar back up. Oh, that was a great one. All right. Yeah, these are getting pretty awesome. Yeah, great lightning bolts showing up. Of course, we don't want this to strike anything, but man, sure is fun to look at. Big old bolts showing up. I could watch this stuff all day. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, Lily says that was a good one. Yeah, that was lit. That was cool. I might, you know what? I think I need to keep this up for another minute or so. Again, if you're in Beckley, this is missing you to the south. This is kind of hitting. Oh, yeah. All right. We got some great lightning showing up. All right. Yeah, we're going to keep this camera up for a minute, guys. Sorry. Checking. I mean, why not? Why not keep it up for a little bit? And this is the main storm that we are concerned about, so why not just get the ground truth of what's going on with it? Kelly says, I don't like this stuff. I'm sorry to hear that, Kelly. Hopefully you're staying safe. That's why we do these Facebook Lives, is so that we can keep you updated on what's going on. Believe it or not, I have a ginormous batch of chicken wings that I'm waiting to devour. I've been having to smell these chicken wings for 53 minutes. I was about to dive into them when I decided to do this Facebook Live. So there are sacrifices that must be made, and in my sense, for me, it was eating chicken wings. Hey, that was a good ladder right there, too. So this is still the hot spot. This has not crossed the Turnpike yet. Yeah, let's see. Trying to check all the pages here. Joanne, is it coming to Bluefield? Nope. You are good. You are good. Mark moved into Beckley area. You're okay. You guys are good in Beckley. And again, Clay, to you as well. You guys will be fine over in those areas. I'm just looking to see. Let's see. Great question. Do people in the area of the Turnpike need to get cars under cover? So let's go ahead. I'm going to hang here for one more second to see if we can get one more good lightning bolt. And then we'll show the radar and show you exactly which areas are of the greatest concern here for seeing some hail. I want to emphasize, though, this is likely not big hailstones that we're looking at. It's just hail falling very quickly. So this is the kind of hail that could cover the ground that we are looking at. Come on, give me one more lightning bolt. I'm feeling greedy this evening, guys. I want one more bolt. I feel like Mother Nature's not going to let me down. And we're kind of back to doing cloud to cloud here. So a little less in the way of cloud to ground. Had a couple of cloud to ground strikes, though. Oh, did we just lose the camera? No! Why did we lose the camera? Nick, wind and hail are only concerned the rest of the... Hey, we're back. All right, cool. Wind and hail are only concerned the rest of tonight. Yeah, and only for a couple more hours. Particularly with that hail threat. What are the lighter, puffier clouds? Just curious. They were fast and swirly early. Jenna, are you talking about this stuff up to the west? That's actually inflow going into the storm that's up to our north and west. So this is basically, we're kind of getting a view of the updraft of this storm. And there's basically wind that is pushing this up into the storm. So this is not rotating or anything like that. But that's also why you're seeing the lightning over here as well. I hope that answers your question. I was really hoping we get one more lightning bolt, but I'm starting to lose hope here because I really do need to pop the old radar back up so we can show folks what the heck's going on instead of just looking at lightning. This is cloud to cloud. That was a good lightning, but that was not cloud to ground. That was cloud to cloud. And you can always tell because if it's cloud to cloud, you're just going to get the big flashes in the clouds. If it's cloud to ground, you'll see the bolts. You'll see the ladders. All right, let's pop the radar back up. Let's see what we got. And this is showing a lot of signs of weakening here. Let's make this clear. This is weakening for now. Perhaps some small hail just south and east of Sophia toward Abney. There's actually a couple of houses for sale in Abney I was looking at. Ironic. Maybe, perhaps some pea-sized hail toward Coal City, toward Abney. And this continues to shift down to the southeast. So this is headed toward Shady Spring. Yeah, this is weakening a lot now, so we like to see that. This is not even a hail signature at the moment. Now, it could recycle. We'll hang on here until we know for sure. Let's take a look at some other spots real quickly. Decent little cell there in east of Yeager. Perhaps some small hail just near Aaron, kind of riding along the highway there toward Premier. But again, that would be like pea-sized hail. It's not a huge deal in the scheme of things. Keeping an eye. Let's switch radars back to Roanoke. Decent little cell popping up there in western Monroe County toward Ballard. This is sub-severe, but is showing some signs of strengthening here. Perhaps some pea-sized hail just outside of Peterstown. So, of course, Peterstown's right here. Probably some lightning. And again, in between Linside and Peterstown there along 219 in Monroe County. Could see perhaps a quick hit of some hail. Small hail, and a couple of claps of lightning. Nothing like what we're seeing farther east. This storm here in toward Bedford, toward Buchanan there in Virginia. Woof. Those are some strong thunderstorms over there. We're not seeing that here. I will say, though, let's pop the gent camera up one more time. This is about to be an absolute wall of rain coming through. This is going to be some very heavy rain. Won't last long, but it will be heavy as it pushes its way in. Lily says it is hailing here, but just a little. That's good. Tammy says, hear lots of thunder in Peterstown. Yeah, the reason for that probably is because that storm is growing vertically right now. You usually get a lot of electric activity within those clouds whenever you do see the vertical development taking place. So if we pop the Monroe storm back up here real quickly. Again, this is kind of a really pretty shot, to be quite honest with you, looking from Gent. Again, this storm is moving north of here, so it's not going to miss the camera by much, but it is moving up to the north. We'll show you the progression of the storm. And again, it is weakening as the core of this kind of collapses and moves a little farther down to the south and east. This could get a little closer to Gent than was originally looking at. I think we'll miss it, though. Still yet to the north. But again, look at this development in Monroe County. Now, this, again, is not severe, but watch how quickly this develops, and that's why you see that lightning in Peterstown. So Peterstown is right there on the border. Oh, it was close enough, right? So that storm is just missing you to the north of you, and you're probably getting a good bit of lightning because of that. That's some stout activity in eastern parts of Tazewell County, western parts of Bland County. So it's going to cross the turnpike toward Bland, kind of leaving Burke's Garden, Shawver Mill, toward Grapefield, Suter. Then we have this activity in McDowell County, also not severe, showing signs of weakening. However, with that being said, this is going to drop some pretty heavy rain in a short period of time in places like Pineville. So we take a look at some of these rainfall totals over the last hour. And pretty impressive across eastern Kentucky. Inch and a half. Now, we've been pretty dry, so flooding not really a concern, but that's definitely enough to muddy the creeks up a little bit. And then, of course, we have all this lightning that is right over Oops, I zoomed out by accident. Let's pop the radar back up here. Basically, getting ready to cross the turnpike. Whoops. There we go. A lot of lightning in Beckley. A lot of lightning just to the west of the turnpike. Of course, here's the turnpike right here. And this is all just kind of generally speaking, scooting down to the south and east. And it looks like the severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire. We have not gotten a new one yet. We'll wait and see if a new one gets issued, but at least for the moment, no severe thunderstorm warning. Again, wish we had the Beckley camera. Probably going to wrap this coverage up. We've been on here for over an hour. I got to get some stuff done, to be quite honest with you. Of course, if we do have some severe weather, we'll pop back on here. Tammy says, I hear lots of thunder in Peterstown. Clouds are very black in Bluefield. Yeah, I mean, this storm up to your north is still packing a punch. Hanover, a little bit of rain, some thunder and lightning, says Keith. Keith, appreciate you. Wow, that was big lightning. A lot of cloud to cloud there. Paul says, here in Thunder and Shady. Yep, it's headed toward you, buddy. Not severe, though, at this point. Cody, cloud to ground strikes here in Lanark. When looking to the south and west, I believe it. Yeah, you get from about Beckley Point south. There's a lot of lightning out there. Tom says, came through Fairdale a few minutes ago. Tom, let me know if you saw any hail. If you didn't miss it by much. Trying to figure out what kind of interference is that right there. That's weird. Mount Hope is doing fine there, Michael. You got some lightning down to your south, though. Lily says, in Fairdale, got some pea-sized hail, thunder, and lightning. Appreciate that report, Lily. If you got any photos, let me know. Just send a message or whatever works for you, whatever's easiest. But again, this storm, thankfully, is below severe limits. It is weakening. Pop this up one more time. I say weakening, but I mean, it's still going to have some heavy rain. Still going to have the potential for some pea-sized hail. Still going to have the potential for some lightning. We're still seeing a lot of lightning with this as it works its way down to the south and east. So, still wouldn't hurt to just hang inside for a few minutes. But not seeing the hail signature that we had just a little bit ago. We're not seeing that so much where this is now. Not like we did farther back to the west. And I'm dead serious when I say I would not be surprised if there's some areas in southern Boone County where the hail covered the ground. That was a doozy. You know, might as well just stay on here until I'm just going to pop the camera up, kind of wrap the coverage up by leaving this camera up for a few minutes and watching the storm move over the turnpike in real time. Why not? So that's what we're going to wrap this up on. We'll answer some. We'll answer some questions if you have any lingering comments while this moves through. It's going to probably take about 5 minutes or so for that to happen, so we'll hang on here for another 5 minutes or so. Lily says took some footage. That's what I'm talking about. Lily's been an absolute G this evening. Thank you, Lily. And again, we're live on about 3 different... wow, that was a big one there. That was a big one. Heard that one here inside the studio. You probably can't hear that very well here, but that was close enough to... Now we're getting close enough to where we're finally starting to hear the thunder from the station. A lot of lightning occurring with this, I might add. Looking forward to eating these chicken wings. They smell delicious. And just checking some data here while we're watching the storm kind of mosey its way on through. Now this is some scud clouds that we're seeing.
for those that are wondering. So we don't have anything rotating or anything like that. Can't rule out maybe some broad mid-level rotation, but as far as rotation on the ground or anything like that, we are not seeing that. This is more of just, we're looking to see if we can see any hail at all that occurs with this as it crosses the turnpike. So that's why we're kind of waiting here. Again, we got some decent scuds showing up, so there's still some gusty winds with this. And this is getting ready to cross the turnpike here momentarily. We are within a couple of minutes of this camera getting dunked on. After this system moves through, should we quiet down? Yeah, you better believe it. Better believe it, Kelly. We got a great little stretch of weather coming beginning Friday afternoon. A couple of sprinkles in the morning. Then the afternoon is going to be in good shape here. Selena says, I think I'm like you. I could watch it all day. Guys, there's not very many things that I would say I'm good at or thoroughly just could do all day, but I can watch storms all day, man. That's what I live for. This job is a dream come true. So how about that? This is actually moving just north of Gent. It's kind of almost more toward Shady Spring and Gent. We kind of call this right turning a little bit. Storm is right turning just a little bit. And again, we're watching these scud clouds kind of getting ready to cross the turnpike. Camera's starting to shake a little bit as the storm starts to encroach. So camera just started shaking. You can see the leaves blowing a little bit in the background. And again, we're just going to let this storm kind of work its way in. We don't have any warnings in our region now like we did earlier. So we're going to let these storms. That was a big old raindrop. Now I will say, we don't have any warnings, but there's some very heavy rain occurring in northern McDowell County from about Welch Points north. Could pick up a quick inch of rain in those spots. But again, sub-severe. But definitely some heavy rain, some lightning occurring there. Whew. Had a long day today, guys. Camera's starting to shake, and we are right on the cusp. Interestingly, not really seeing much lightning at this point. So again, the news station is right here, so we are kind of looking up to the north and west like so. And if there's any spot that has or sees hail, there it is. Be right there toward Coolidge. I'm almost about half tempted to hop off here and go see if I can find some hail. Not nearly as many lightning strikes as we had just a little bit ago. And again, we're starting to see some raindrops. You can see that showing up on the lens here. And it's kind of the southern tip of this is starting to kind of turn into the stronger portion of the storm. So that actually would scoot through the southern parts of, or south of Gent, I should say, down toward Flat Top and toward Spanisburg. That was a pretty good sized flash of lightning there. Heard that one. Hear that at the station right now. Again, some of these you might be able to hear audibly through the mics. I'm not exactly sure. It's pretty loud. Not much wind with this so far. So this is weakening considerably. Again, though, back to the west toward portions of McDowell County, we are seeing some pretty heavy rain out that way. So some ponding on the roads, probably a good bet. But again, sub-severe. So I want to make that clear, but Definitely some heavy rain. All right, now comes the downpours. We're starting to see the rain picking up, of course. I can hear it outside. Camera shaking a little bit as this crosses the turnpike at Gent. Folks are going to take it easy on the turnpike. Thankfully, the hail portion of this storm weakened as it made its way into the corridor, turnpike corridor. Still a good bit of lightning strike activity. Brianna Foster says, I had pebble hail in Cold City for about 30 seconds. Tons of lightning. If you got any photos, please send them, Brianna. Rain is coming down here. All right, I think this is a good stopping point. The rain's coming in. Again, this is not severe. We're watching the southern tip of this, I will say, down toward Odd and Flat Top, Spanishburg. Watching that closely. That's the strongest part of the storm at this point. And then this is just all heavy rain and lightning in northern McDowell and western Wyoming counties, as well as in Blaine County. And then a little hail core moving into Giles County from Monroe County. All right, folks, we've been on here for a hot minute. I'm going to go ahead and take a break. And if we have any more warnings, we'll, of course, let you know. Hope this was helpful to you. We do love doing these. Chief Meteorologist Joe Fitzwater. We were live for a hot minute, and appreciate you guys. Shoot us a message if you got any questions. Take care. See you back in about 45 minutes. An hour on 59 News at 10. Take care, guys.